Hi guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. And in this video, I'm talking about Oticon's new MicroShell Earmolds and how they took their already impressive hearing aids to an entirely new level. Coming up. For those of you out there who truly understand how important acoustics are when it comes to the performance of a hearing aid, you will be happy to know that Oticon just released a new embedded receiver earmold that does not require the use of a power receiver. This new earmold that was released by Oticon a few months ago is called the MicroShell, and I've got to say, it has led to a significant increase in the amount of Oticon hearing aids that I recommend to patients in my clinic. One thing that a lot of hearing aid users have no understanding of is just how important the dome or earmold is on the end of a hearing aid when it comes to optimizing hearing aid performance. But before I tell you how they are so important, if you could do me a huge favor and click the like button, I would really appreciate it because it helps my channel grow and it gets these videos in front of a broader audience. And while you're at it, if you have not yet hit the subscribe button with notification bell, go ahead and do that as well because that ensures that you never miss one of my new videos. That being said, let's get into why I like this MicroShell earmold from Oticon so much. Now, if you're someone with a mild to moderate high frequency hearing loss with relatively normal low frequency hearing, then a rubber dome is probably ideal for you because it will allow you to amplify the high frequencies enough to overcome your hearing loss without causing a bunch of whistling and feedback, and it will not plug up your ears so you can still use your good low frequency hearing. However, if part of your hearing loss is in the low frequency range or you happen to have a moderately severe or worse hearing loss in the higher frequencies, then a rubber dome just ain't gonna cut it. In these cases, if you actually want to hear your best, you are going to have a custom earmold that perfectly fits your ear and has a proper vent size. When it comes to the physical fit of an earmold, I happen to be a much bigger fan of an embedded receiver earmold than I am with an earmold that uses a standard receiver that you attach to it. To help you understand the difference between these two types of earmolds, here is a MicroShell embedded receiver earmold on the left-hand side and a light tip mini fit earmold that attaches to a standard receiver on the right hand side. You can see how the receiver inside of the MicroShell earmold is entirely encased inside of the acrylic, while the receiver is still exposed with the light tip earmold. In my opinion, embedded receiver earmolds are almost always a better fit than earmolds that attach to a receiver wire, and I'm going to show you why. When you look at my left ear here, this is the one that has the MicroShell receiver. You can see how that wire sits very flush up against the side of my head as it comes out of my ear canal and wraps around to the Oticon More hearing aid that I'm wearing on my left ear. But if you look at my right ear, this is one that has the light tip mini fit earmold that I actually attach to the receiver wire. Can you see how that receiver wire actually comes out of my ear canal more before it goes up on top of my ear to the More hearing aid that I have on my right ear? This right here is the difference between an embedded receiver earmold and an earmold that you just attach to the end of a receiver. This also means that the tip of the receiver is closer to your eardrum, which means that you can actually reduce the amount of amplification that you need from the device in order to overcome your hearing loss, and it reduces the amount of occlusion effect that you would perceive. If you're not familiar with what occlusion effect is, I do have a video about that I will link in the description. When it comes to the size of the vent that is on an earmold, it is very important that your hearing care professional selects the right vent size. And this has everything to do with your configuration of hearing loss. Sometimes you can have a much larger vent, and other times you need a much smaller vent to control the amount of sound that stays inside of your ear and to be able to reduce the risk of feedback, which is that whistling sound that some people get from their hearing aids. Being able to control the exact size of vent that would be ideal for your specific hearing loss is exactly why using a custom earmold would be substantially better than using a generic rubber dome for certain types of hearing loss. And in a lot of cases, it is much easier to insert a custom earmold inside of your ear because it is specifically designed to fit your exact ear canal. This is because you actually get a custom impression that gets sent off to Oticon to make your MicroShell earmold. If you've never had custom earmolds before, don't worry because the process is pretty straightforward. Either your hearing care professional professional will inject your ear canals with impression material, or even better, your hearing care professional will scan your ears with a 3D laser and have those digital impressions uploaded to Oticon within minutes. In 2 weeks, or even less if you use a digital scan, you will have a brand new set of MicroShell ear molds for your Oticon hearing aids. To be honest, I was already a pretty big fan of the Oticon More hearing aids, but now that they have a custom embedded receiver ear mold, I am an even bigger fan. But there is one major drawback of an embedded receiver ear mold, and that is if something happens with the receiver wire or the receiver that is embedded inside of that ear mold, your hearing care professional is not going to be able to fix it inside of their office. That ear mold is going to have to go back into Oticon for them to fix. Now, they do usually come with a pretty long warranty, so if you do have to send it in, it won't cost you any extra for Oticon to repair it. You might have to pay a service fee to your hearing care professional to facilitate that, but at the end of the day, it makes it a little bit more inconvenient for you unless you happen to have a backup set of ear molds. Given that 9 times out of 10, a malfunction with an ear mold just happens to be you need to change the wax trap on that ear mold, it is going to be a very rare occurrence that you have to send your ear mold back into Oticon to get it repaired. And when you factor in that you're going to be hearing substantially better with your MicroShell ear mold, this risk is definitely worth it. So those are my thoughts on this new MicroShell ear mold. I'm a huge fan of it, and I'm honestly a huge fan of ear molds in general because they just make hearing aids work a lot better. And if you want your Oticon hearing aids to work better than they are right now, then the MicroShell embedded receiver ear mold could be the solution that you've been waiting for, and it is definitely worth asking your hearing care professional about. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please share it. And if you want to see other videos just like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, feel free to check out my website, drcliffaud.com.